The great hall of the Galactic Conclave shimmered with light from 1,000 worlds. Representatives of over 200 alien species sat in rising tiers around a central platform. Their bodies came in all shapes and sizes, some with multiple limbs, others with scales or fur, and many with features humans could not even name. Today marked a historic vote. For the first time in 300 cycles, all species in the conclave would decide the fate of a newly discovered intelligent. Race Ambassador Krovak of the Arxan Empire stepped onto the speaking platform. His tall insect-like body towered over the smaller species. The light reflected off his dark blue exoskeleton as he raised all 4 of his arms for silence. Esteemed members of the conclave, Krovak's voice boomed through the chamber. We have studied the species of planet Earth, these humans, for 20 cycles. Our findings are complete. Behind him, a large hologram appeared showing planet Earth. The image zoomed in to show cities, forests, oceans, and finally, humans going about their daily lives. The evidence is clear, continued Krovak. These creatures possess limited technology. They fight endless wars among themselves. They have barely touched their nearby moon and have sent only primitive probes beyond their solar system. Murmurs of agreement spread through the hall. A small, green-skinned representative from the Melnoran Collective raised a glowing tendril. Yet our reports indicate unusual traits, the Melnoran said in a soft voice. They adapt quickly. They show remarkable endurance. Some of our scientists suggest caution. Krovak clicked his mandibles in what passed for laughter among the Arxans. Precisely. Why they will make perfect servants, he replied. Their physical form can survive in many environments. They breed quickly. They learn basic tasks well. Most importantly, they have no means to resist our technology. The hologram changed to show humans working in various settings, mining, farming, constructing buildings. But these were simulations showing humans serving alien masters. The vote is simple, Krovak declared. Shall Earth be designated a Class 4 servant world? Shall humans be harvested to serve the greater needs of the conclave? One by one, the voting indicators around the hall lit up. Blue for approval, red for rejection. Within minutes, every light glowed blue. The decision was unanimous. It is decided, announced Krovak, pleasure evident in his vibrating voice. Preparation for the harvest begins immediately. Deployment of integration forces will commence in 3 standard rotations. As the conclave members left the hall, none noticed the small probe hidden in the shadows of the ceiling. Its tiny lens had recorded everything. Dr. Eleanor Chen stared at her computer screen in disbelief. The images transmitted from her experimental quantum receiver made no sense, and yet they were unmistakable. The device had been designed to detect signals from distant stars. Instead, it had intercepted a transmission from what appeared to be an enormous space station. She had watched strange alien creatures vote on something. The translation program had managed to decode only fragments, but enough to understand what she was seeing. They were voting to invade Earth. Eleanor's hands trembled as she reached for her phone. The clock on her desk showed 3:17 a.m. The CERN laboratory around her was silent at this hour, which was exactly why she had chosen to conduct her experiments now. She dialed a number she had promised never to use except in the most extreme emergency. "James," she said when the call connected. "It's Eleanor. I need you to listen carefully. We don't have much time." James Okonkwo had once been her research partner. Now he served as a special advisor to the United Nations Security Council. If anyone could get the world to listen, it would be him. "Ellie? It's the middle of the night. What's happening?" His voice was thick with sleep. "I picked up a transmission. Not from Earth. James, there are others out there, many species, and they've just voted to invade us. They called it a harvest. They're planning to turn humans into servants." There was a long pause. "Are you absolutely certain?" he finally asked, fully awake now. "I recorded everything. I'm sending it to you now. The translation is rough, but the images are clear. James, they said the invasion begins in 3 rotations. I don't know exactly what that means, but I think we have days, not weeks. Eleanor heard James take a deep breath. Stay where you are. Secure that data. I'm calling an emergency meeting. I'll send a security team to bring you to New York immediately. 72 hours later, Eleanor stood before a hastily assembled group of world leaders in the UN headquarters. The room was tense as they watched the recording for the third time. Even if this is real, what can we possibly do against technology like this? Asked the British Prime Minister. Those ships we saw in the background, they're enormous. We fight, said General Maria Santos of Brazil. We may be outmatched, but humanity will not surrender without resistance. James stepped forward. Doctor, Chen has a proposal. Eleanor nodded and pulled up diagrams on the main screen. We can't match their technology, but we might be able to understand it. The quantum receiver that intercepted their transmission works on principles that seem similar to some of their communication systems. If we can understand that, we might find other weaknesses. She showed them designs for a modified version of her receiver. I believe we can use this to interfere with their neural control systems, what they called integration technology. It won't stop them, but it might give us a fighting chance. How long would it take to build this? Asked the Chinese president. With unlimited resources? 2 months. But according to what we heard, we have less than that. The US president stood up. Then we work faster. Every research facility, every military lab, every private technology company will be directed to this project. Dr. Chen will coordinate the scientific effort. General Santos nodded grimly. While Dr. Chen works on the technology, we'll prepare our defenses. We may be primitive by their standards, but humans know how to fight against the odds. As the meeting broke up into urgent action groups, Eleanor felt a heavy weight on her shoulders. The fate of humanity might rest on her ability to understand alien technology they had never seen up close. Outside the window, people walked the streets of New York, completely unaware that high above them, a fleet of ships was preparing to change their world forever. In the Arxan command ship orbiting just beyond Saturn, Commander Vextor reviewed the invasion plans one final time. The humans had no idea what was coming. Begin approach sequence, he ordered. The harvest of Earth starts now. Little did he know that humans had one advantage the Conclave had overlooked. They knew the attack was coming. And humans fighting for survival were more dangerous than any species in the galaxy, realized. 3 months passed in a blur of frantic preparation. Dr. Eleanor Chen barely slept, working day and night with a global team of scientists to develop defenses against the coming invasion. Meanwhile, military forces worldwide prepared for a battle, unlike any in human history. But all their preparations seemed small on the day the sky changed. It began as a strange darkening over major cities. People looked up, many thinking it was unusual weather. Then the massive ships became visible, breaking through the cloud cover, enormous dark vessels that stretched for kilometers. In New York, Tokyo, London, Beijing, and a dozen other major cities, the alien vessels hovered silently. No communication, no demands, just their overwhelming presence. They're here, Eleanor whispered, standing on the roof of the research center in Colorado. Her hand tightened around the small device she carried, their only hope against the advanced, alien technology. The world held its breath for 23 minutes. Then, without warning, the attack began. The Arxan strategy was precise and devastating. First came the electromagnetic pulses that disabled power grids, communications, and most electronic devices worldwide. Cities plunged into darkness. Military bases lost contact with their commands. Panic spread quickly. Colonel Maya Reyes stood in the command center of Fort Benning as the lights flickered and died. Only their shielded emergency systems remained, functional. Status report, she shouted over the sudden chaos. EMP attack, Colonel, replied Lieutenant Jackson. Most systems are down. Only the modified equipment is still working. Colonel Reyes nodded grimly. The modified equipment, technology built according to Dr. Chen's specifications, was all they had left. Deploy the units as planned, she ordered, and get me a direct line to the other resistance bases. Outside, bright beams of light shot down from the Arxan ships. Where they touched, Arxan soldiers appeared, tall, insect-like creatures armed with weapons humans had never seen before. They moved with frightening speed and coordination. The second phase of the attack targeted military installations. Precision energy weapons fired from orbit, vaporizing conventional defenses before they could respond. Aircraft carriers sank in minutes. Tank divisions became burning wreckage, yet not all of Earth's defenses failed. At key locations around the world, soldiers equipped with Dr. Chen's modified technology stood ready. At Fort Benning, Colonel Reyes led her soldiers out to meet the first wave of Arxan troops. Each human soldier wore a vest containing Eleanor's quantum interference device. "Remember your training," Reyes called out as the first Arxan soldiers teleported into view. "Don't engage until they activate their neural weapons." The Arxan commander raised a device pointing it toward the human soldiers. According to their intelligence, the neural pacifier should instantly render all humans in range unconscious. It had worked in every simulation, but not today. As the neural wave washed over the human soldiers, their vests glowed with a soft blue light. The soldiers staggered but remained standing. Colonel Reyes felt a splitting headache, but kept her rifle aimed at the Arxan commander. "Open fire," she ordered. The Arxan soldiers had not expected resistance. Their intelligence had shown humans as technologically primitive. The sudden barrage of gunfire caught them unprepared. 3 Arxans fell immediately. The Arxan commander quickly adjusted, directing his troops to use conventional weapons. Energy beams crisscrossed the battlefield, cutting down several human soldiers. But the humans continued fighting, displaying a ferocity that shocked the aliens. Similar scenes played out at other locations worldwide. The Arxans still held overwhelming technological superiority, but the humans were not the easy conquest they had expected. In orbit, Commander Vextor received disturbing reports from ground forces. "How are they resisting the neural pacifiers?" he demanded. "Our intelligence indicated no capability to counter such technology." "Unknown, Commander," replied his science officer. "They appear to have developed some form of quantum shielding. It is crude but partially effective." Vextor's mandibles clicked in irritation. "Increase the power output, overwhelm their defenses, and capture their scientists. We need to understand how they developed this technology so quickly." Back at the Colorado Research Facility, Eleanor and her team monitored the battles through their limited communications network. Reports came in of both victories and defeats. The Arxans were still winning overall, but humans were inflicting unexpected casualties. "It's working better than I hoped," Eleanor told James, who had stayed with the science team. "The interference devices are giving our soldiers a fighting chance." "Not enough of a chance," James replied grimly, pointing to the global situation map. Red dots indicating Arxan control were spreading rapidly across every continent. "We're slowing them down, but we can't stop them." Eleanor nodded, her face determined. "We don't need to stop them yet. We just need to survive long enough to implement Phase 2. Before James could respond, alarms blared throughout the facility. On the security monitors, they saw Arxan troops teleporting directly into the outer perimeter. "They've found us," Eleanor said, quickly gathering critical data drives. "We need to evacuate now." The research team rushed to the underground tunnels as security forces engaged the invaders. Eleanor carried the most important item, a small device that contained the complete plans for the next generation of human defenses. They had almost reached the escape vehicles when an energy beam collapsed part of the tunnel ahead of them. From the dust emerged 5 Arxan soldiers, weapons ready. "Surrender," commanded the lead Arxan in a strange mechanical translation of their language. "Resistance is pointless." Eleanor stepped forward, hands raised. "I surrender. Just don't harm my colleagues." The Arxan moved with surprising speed, seizing Eleanor and the device she carried. "You will come with us. Commander Vextor wishes to meet the human who created these interference devices." As the Arxans prepared to teleport with their captive, Eleanor caught James's eye. She tapped her wristwatch 3 times, their prearranged signal. The plan was proceeding exactly as they had hoped. Getting captured was never part of their defense strategy. It was part of their offense. As Eleanor disappeared in a flash of light, transported to the Arxan command ship, James turned to the remaining team members. "Begin Phase 2, he ordered. "We have 3 months before she needs extraction." Across the world, the Arxan invasion continued. Cities fell, governments collapsed. Within weeks, most of Earth was under alien control. But in hidden bunkers and remote locations, resistance groups formed around soldiers who had used Dr. Chen's technology. And aboard the Arxan command ship, Eleanor Chen began her most important work, learning everything she could about her captors' technology, sending coded information during brief moments when she could access their systems. The Arxans believed they had won. They did not understand that the real battle was just beginning. 6 months had passed since the Arxan invasion. Earth was now firmly under alien control. Major cities had become processing centers where humans were sorted, tested, and shipped to various worlds across the galaxy. Those who resisted openly were quickly eliminated. Those who seemed cooperative were put to work. In the grand chamber of the Galactic Conclave, Ambassador Krovak stood proudly before the assembly. Behind him, a holographic display showed humans working in mines, fields, and factories across dozens of worlds. "As you can see, esteemed colleagues, the human integration proceeds efficiently," Krovak announced. "Over 10 million specimens have been distributed to member worlds. Their physical adaptability is even better than our initial studies suggested." The Melnoran representative raised a glowing tendril. "We have concerns, Ambassador. Reports from several worlds indicate unusual occurrences." Krovak's mandibles clicked in annoyance. "Minor issues during integration are expected. Nothing significant." "Perhaps," continued the Melnoran, "but humans assigned to the mining colony on Proxima B are surviving radiation levels that should be lethal. Those working in the high-gravity environments of Torlin have developed increased bone density at rates that defy our understanding of biology." A murmur spread through the chamber as other representatives shared their own reports. 3 humans escaped from a supposedly escape-proof labor camp on Demexa, added a reptilian delegate. "Their learning curve with technology is steeper than predicted," said another. "Some have begun to understand machinery they should have no comprehension of." Krovak raised all 4 arms for silence. "These are isolated incidents. Humans remain primitive and controllable. However," he added, seeing the concern in the chamber, "I will order more extensive studies of their physiology and adaptive capabilities." As the conclave session ended, Krovak received a private message from Commander Vextor. He read it quickly, his compound eyes narrowing. "Bring the human scientist to my quarters immediately," he ordered his aide. Dr. Eleanor Chen sat in her small cell aboard the Arxan command ship. Though technically a prisoner, she had been given certain freedoms due to her scientific knowledge. The Arxans were curious about how humans had developed the quantum interference technology so quickly. Eleanor had carefully fed them just enough information to maintain their interest while learning everything she could about their systems. The neural implant they had given her to monitor her activities had been subtly modified during moments when she was left alone. Now it served as both a receiver and transmitter for the resistance network. The door slid open, and 2 Arxan guards entered. "Ambassador Krovak demands your presence," one said in the mechanical translation voice. Eleanor was escorted to a large chamber filled with holographic displays. Ambassador Krovak towered over her, his blue exoskeleton gleaming under the lights. "Human," he said. "Explain this." He gestured to a display showing humans on various worlds exhibiting unexpected abilities. Eleanor studied the images carefully, hiding her satisfaction. Phase 2 was working better than expected. "Adaptation," she said simply. "Humans have always been good at adapting to new environments." "Not like this," Krovak insisted. "Your kind is changing too quickly, learning too fast, especially those with technical roles who have access to our technology." Eleanor shrugged. "Perhaps you underestimated us." Krovak leaned down until his face was centimeters from hers. "Or perhaps something else is happening. Your quantum interference technology suggests knowledge you should not possess. Are other secrets being kept from us?" "I'm just a scientist," Eleanor replied calmly. "I observe and learn. That's what humans do best. Before Krovak could respond, an aide rushed into the room. "Ambassador, urgent news from Earth. The resistance movement has grown. They've launched coordinated attacks against 3 processing centers." Krovak turned away from Eleanor. "Impossible. Their military was crushed. It appears they have adapted some of our weapons technology," the aide reported, "and they are being led by a human military officer named Reyes." Eleanor kept her face carefully neutral, but inside she felt a surge of hope. Colonel Reyes was still alive and fighting. Deep beneath the ruins of what had once been Atlanta, Colonel Maya Reyes studied the holographic map showing Arxan positions across North America. The underground resistance base hummed with activity as fighters prepared for their next mission. "The attack on the Chicago processing center freed over 2,000 people," reported Lieutenant Jackson, "but we lost 15 fighters." Reyes nodded grimly. "Each operation gets better. Our people are learning to use the alien tech more effectively." A young woman approached carrying a small device. "Colonel, we received a new transmission from Dr. Chen. It contains schematics for the Arxan neural network and updates on their fleet positions." Reyes took the device eagerly. Eleanor's information had been crucial to their growing resistance. What had started as scattered groups hiding from alien patrols had become an organized force capable of striking back. "What about the other information we requested?" Reyes asked. "About the human workers on other worlds?" The communications officer nodded. "It's all here. Dr. Chen confirms what we suspected. The quantum resonance network is active across at least 7 planets. Humans throughout the galaxy are changing, adapting faster than should be possible." Reyes turned to James Okonkwo, who had become her chief strategist. "Eleanor's quantum network is the key to everything. The Arxans thought they were monitoring her with their neural implant, but she reversed it. Now similar implants in humans across the galaxy are being modified, creating a quantum connection between all of us." James studied the new data. "According to these readings, humans exposed to alien technology are showing accelerated neural development. They're not just learning how to use the technology, they're understanding how it works at a fundamental level. And more importantly," Reyes added, "they're changing physically as well. Humans in high radiation environments are developing resistance. Those in high-gravity worlds are growing stronger. It's as if human DNA has quantum properties we never discovered on Earth," James finished. "Properties that allow for rapid adaptation when exposed to new environments and technologies." Reyes walked to a secure container and entered a complex code. Inside was a device similar to the neural implants the Arxans used, but heavily modified. "It's time for the next phase," she said. "Eleanor has given us access to their central command networks. We can now coordinate with human resistance on every world where our people have been sent." She turned to face the assembled resistance leaders. The Arxans and the Conclave thought they were creating a servant race. Instead, they've awakened abilities in us that might have taken thousands of years to develop naturally on Earth. A scientist stepped forward. "Colonel, we've completed analysis of the Arxan teleportation technology based on Dr. Chen's schematics. We can now construct our own version." Reyes smiled for the first time in months. "Excellent. Prepare the strike. Teams. In 3 days we launch Operation Prometheus, a coordinated attack on the primary Arxan command center. And at the same time, our people on other worlds will strike as well." As the resistance leaders dispersed to prepare, James remained with Reyes. "Do you think we're ready?" he asked quietly. "We're still outnumbered and outgunned." Reyes looked at the modified neural implant in her hand. They wanted servants, but with every human they exposed to their technology, with every world they sent our people to, they were creating something else entirely. "What?" James asked. "Their worst nightmare," Reyes replied. "A species that can understand, adapt to, and ultimately master their technology faster than they can develop new defenses. They thought they were enslaving Earth. Instead, they were creating their future conquerors." 1 year after the invasion of Earth, strange incidents began occurring throughout the Arxan Empire. On the ice mining world of Cryodon 7, human workers thought to be fully controlled suddenly overrode the environmental systems. The Arxan overseers found themselves trapped in quarters where temperatures rapidly dropped below freezing. By the time help arrived, The humans had disappeared, along with 3 transport ships. In the shipyards of Talax Prime, maintenance crews, composed of supposedly docile humans, sabotaged 20 warships by reconfiguring their propulsion systems in ways the Arxan engineers could not understand. The ships exploded when they attempted to enter faster-than-light travel. Most alarming to the Galactic Conclave, 3 entire human transport vessels vanished from monitored space, along with their Arxan security details. No distress signals were sent. No debris was found. The ships and all aboard simply disappeared. Ambassador Krovac stood before an emergency session of the Conclave, his exoskeleton now dull with stress. The chamber was only half full. Many species had withdrawn from the Human Integration Initiative after suffering unexpected losses. These are not random incidents, Krovac admitted reluctantly. We face a coordinated rebellion unlike anything in Conclave history. The Melnoran representative's voice was cold. You assured us humans were primitive, controllable. Instead, they adapt to our technology faster than species who have been part of the Conclave for centuries. They understand systems they should have no knowledge of. We are implementing stricter control measures, Krovac insisted. More advanced neural suppressors, which they somehow bypass, interrupted the reptilian delegate. My world sent 50 ships to aid the integration. Only 28 returned. The humans are learning our technology and turning it against us. Before Krovac could respond, the chamber's emergency alert system activated. All delegates turned to the central display as a message appeared. Your technology is now ours. The simple text remained for 10 seconds before the entire Conclave communication system shut down. On Earth, Colonel Maya Reyes gave final instructions to her strike teams. The underground base had become a highly efficient command center, using modified Arxan technology. Fighters wore light armor adapted from alien materials and carried weapons that combined human ingenuity with alien power sources. Operation Prometheus begins in 6 hours, Reyes announced to the assembled leaders. Our target is the primary Arxan command center in what used to be Singapore. Simultaneously, human resistance cells on 7 other worlds will strike their targets. She pointed to a holographic display showing the layout of the alien facility. Teams Alpha through Delta will create diversions at these points. Team Omega, led by myself and James, will penetrate the central core to access their quantum communication hub. Lieutenant Jackson raised his hand. What about Dr. Chen? Do we attempt extraction? Reyes nodded. Dr. Chen's position aboard the Arxan command ship is crucial but too risky to maintain any longer. Team Beta's secondary objective is to activate the emergency teleport beacon she's been building. If successful, she'll be transported directly to our secondary base. As the teams made final preparations, James approached Reyes privately. Are you sure we're ready for this? He asked quietly. The quantum neural network has accelerated our understanding of their technology, but we're still outnumbered. Reyes touched the small device implanted at the base of her skull, her modified version of the Arxan neural implant. Numbers don't matter anymore, she replied. Every human connected to the network learns from the experiences of all others. When one of us masters a technology, that knowledge is instantly available to everyone else. She showed him recent data on her tablet. Look at these readings from humans on different worlds. Their DNA is actually changing in response to alien environments. Adaptations that should take thousands of generations are happening in months. James studied the information with amazement. They created the perfect storm by spreading us across different worlds, exposing us to different technologies and environments while implanting us with neural tech that we could modify. They accelerated our evolution, Reyes finished, and they still don't fully understand what's happening. 6 hours later, Operation Prometheus began with a precision that shocked the Arxan defenders. Human fighters appeared inside the Singapore command center using stolen teleportation technology. Their weapons fired bursts of energy that disrupted the aliens' neural networks rather than killing them, a humane touch the invaders had never shown to humans. Colonel Reyes, leading Team Omega, fought her way to the central communication hub. Arxan soldiers fell back before her, stunned by the humans' mastery of technology that had taken their own species centuries to develop. In the hub, James quickly connected their devices to the alien network. "We're in," he announced. "Accessing." Their secure communications now. On the main display, they watched as reports flooded in from across the galaxy. Human uprisings had begun on every world where their people had been sent. Ships were being commandeered. Facilities were being captured. "Intact. Send the message," Reyes ordered. James activated the quantum transmitter they had brought. Instantly, every Arxan communication device throughout the galaxy displayed the same message. "Your harvest has failed. Earth is free." As the operation concluded, Reyes received the news she had been waiting for. Team Beta reports success. Dr. Chen has been extracted from the Arxan command ship. James looked at the stream of data now flowing through the captured network. "We're getting unprecedented access to the Conclave's secure files. Their entire history, technology database, star charts, everything." A sudden alert drew their attention. "Multiple Arxan battleships are entering Earth orbit," reported a resistance fighter at a monitoring station. Reyes smiled. "Right on schedule." She activated her communication link to all resistance cells worldwide. "All teams initiate phase Aegis." Around the planet, hidden installations powered up. Technology reverse-engineered from alien designs but modified and improved by human ingenuity created an energy shield that enveloped the entire Earth. In orbit, the Arxan fleet opened fire. Their energy weapons struck the shield and dissipated, harmlessly. Ambassador Krovak, watching from the command ship, felt fear for the first time in his long life. "Impossible," he whispered. "No species has ever developed shield technology of this magnitude. Even our most advanced worlds cannot protect an entire planet." His science officer's voice trembled. "The humans have not simply copied our technology. They've improved it. Their quantum neural network allows innovations that would take us decades." On the bridge view screen, a human face appeared. Dr. Eleanor Chen, now safely at the Resistance headquarters. "Ambassador Krovak," she said calmly, "your invasion is over. Your forces on Earth are now our prisoners, treated far better than you treated us. We are prepared to negotiate terms for peace." Krovak's mandibles clicked rapidly in agitation. "You cannot dictate terms to the Conclave. We represent 200 species, thousands of worlds." "And yet," Eleanor replied, "many of those species are now approaching us directly, seeking separate agreements. They've seen what humans can do. They would rather have us as allies than enemies." The science officer leaned close to Krovak. "She speaks the truth. The Melnoran and 3 other major powers have already withdrawn from the conflict. They are asking for human technical assistance." For the first time in the history of the Arxan Empire, an ambassador faced the unthinkable: defeat at the hands of a species they had intended to enslave. "What are your terms?" Krovak finally asked. Eleanor's expression remained firm but not vengeful. "The immediate return of all humans to Earth, reparations for damage done, and a new position for Earth in the Galactic Conclave, not as servants, but as equals." As Krovak considered these demands, reports continued to arrive from across the galaxy. More ships taken, more facilities captured, more species abandoning the Arxan cause. The harvest had failed, and now the harvesters would beg for mercy. 2 years after the invasion of Earth, the Galactic Conclave gathered for its most crucial session in 1,000 years. The Grand Hall, once filled with representatives from over 200 species, now held barely half that number. Many had withdrawn from the Conclave after the human uprising. Others had signed separate peace treaties with Earth. Ambassador Krovak, now bearing the additional title of Supreme Commander of the Anti-Human Containment Force, stood before the assembly. His once bright exoskeleton had dulled to a pale blue, showing the stress of continuous defeats. "Esteemed colleagues," he began, his voice lacking its former confidence, "the situation has grown critical. Humans have now liberated their people from 37 worlds. They have captured 43 of our warships intact. and another 70 have been destroyed. Most concerning, they continue to adapt our technology in ways our scientists cannot predict. Images appeared on the main display showing human-controlled ships with modifications that made them faster and more powerful than their original designs. Other images showed humans whose bodies had changed dramatically, some with enhanced musculature for high-gravity environments, others with modified skin that could withstand extreme radiation or temperature. What began as a simple harvesting operation has become an existential threat to the Conclave itself, Krovak continued. I propose emergency measures. We must quarantine all human-controlled systems. We must recall our forces to defend our core worlds, and we must authorize the immediate sterilization of Earth. Murmurs spread through the chamber. The Melnoran representative raised a glowing tendril. Sterilization? You propose to destroy an entire planetary ecosystem to cover your failures? To prevent the spread of a dangerous species, Krovak countered. Humans are not merely using our technology, they are improving upon it. Their rate of advancement now exceeds that of any known species. If we do not act decisively, within a decade they may surpass the entire conclave. The reptilian delegate hissed in disagreement. My government has already signed a non-aggression pact with Earth. Their technical advisors have improved our agricultural systems beyond anything the Arxans ever provided. We will not support further aggression. One by one, representatives announced their withdrawal from the proposed operation. When the vote came, only the Arxans and 11 minor species supported the plan. Krovak's mandibles clicked in fury. Then, the Arxan Empire will act alone. We have assembled our entire battle fleet. Earth will be sterilized within 3 standard rotations. As the conclave erupted into argument, no one noticed the small maintenance worker in the shadowed corner of the chamber. The worker's uniform concealed the neural implant at the base of his skull, the modified version that connected him to the human quantum network. Every word spoken in the supposedly secure chamber was instantly transmitted to Earth. In the newly established Earth Defense Headquarters, formerly the Arxan Command Center in Singapore, Dr. Eleanor Chen received the transmission with grim determination. So Krovak is making his final move, she said to Colonel Reyes, who now held the title of Earth Defense Commander. The Arxans are coming with everything they have. Reyes studied the tactical display showing the movement of the massive Arxan fleet. They've committed their entire military strength to this operation. Over 300 capital ships plus support vessels. James Okonkwo, now Earth's diplomatic representative to the conclave, shook his head. Even with our improved technology, we can't hope to defeat a force that size. Eleanor smiled. We don't have to defeat them. We just need to convince them that attacking Earth would be their final mistake. She turned to the gathered leaders of Earth's defense forces. Activate the Prometheus protocol. All ships, all defenses, all systems at maximum readiness. And send the message to our people embedded throughout Arxan territory. It's time for Operation Oracle. Around the world, defensive systems powered up. The planetary shield, now enhanced with technology from a dozen alien worlds, strengthened to its highest capacity. The fleet of captured and modified alien vessels moved into defensive positions. But the most significant preparation happened in a secure facility deep beneath the Pacific Ocean. There, the most advanced human scientists worked on technology that went beyond anything the conclave had ever developed. The direct manipulation of quantum states across vast distances. 3 days later, the massive Arxan fleet arrived at the edge of Earth's solar system. From his command ship, Supreme Commander Krovak observed the pitiful human defenses. They have barely 60 warships, he noted with satisfaction. This will be over quickly. His tactical officer was less confident. Supreme Commander, our intelligence suggests the humans have been developing new defensive capabilities. Perhaps we should probe their defenses first with a smaller force. No, Krovak snapped. No more delays, no more caution. We attack with everything, overwhelming their defenses, before they can respond. Begin the advance. The Arxan fleet moved forward in perfect formation, weapons charged, ready to deliver the killing blow to humanity. As they approached Mars orbit, Colonel Reyes gave the order from Earth Defense Headquarters. Activate the quantum displacement field. What happened next would forever change the balance of power in the galaxy. A shimmering field of energy appeared around the Arxan fleet, not originating from Earth, but seemingly from everywhere at once. The massive ship suddenly stopped, caught in what appeared to be distortions in space itself. "What is happening?" Krovak demanded as warning signals blared across his command ship. "Why have we stopped?" "Unknown energy field surrounding the fleet," reported his science officer in panic. It's manipulating quantum states directly. Engines are non-responsive, weapons systems offline. On all communication channels, throughout the fleet, a single message appeared, translated into the Arxan language. "Your technology is now ours. Your understanding is incomplete. Stand down or be disabled." As Krovak watched in horror, 30 of his ships simply vanished, reappearing seconds later in Earth orbit, completely under human control. "Impossible," he whispered. "No species has mastered quantum teleportation at this scale." His tactical officer's voice shook. "Supreme Commander, we're detecting human life signs aboard all our vessels. They're already here, inside our fleet." On the command ship's main view screen, Colonel Maya Reyes appeared. The human commander looked calm, professional, and utterly confident. "Supreme Commander Krovak, this is your only warning. Your ships are now within our quantum displacement field. We can disable or teleport any vessel at will. Your weapons are useless, your engines are under our control. You have one standard rotation to surrender your fleet and withdraw from Earth space permanently." Krovak's mandibles clicked rapidly in distress. "This is impossible. No technology. Your understanding of quantum mechanics is centuries behind ours now," Reyes interrupted. "What you began when you invaded Earth, we have finished. Human minds, linked through the quantum neural network, have made technological leaps your scientists cannot comprehend." She paused, then added, "We do not wish to destroy you. Unlike the Arxans, humans do not believe in unnecessary killing. Surrender your ships and return to your territory. Earth will be open to peaceful relations in the future, but never again to threats." As demonstrations of human power, 10 more Arxan ships vanished and reappeared in different positions. Their weapon systems fired without commands, shooting harmlessly into space. In that moment, Supreme Commander Krovak understood the full magnitude of the Arxan Empire's mistake. They had not found a servant species. They had awakened a sleeping giant with capabilities beyond anything the Conclave had imagined possible. "Stand down all weapons," he ordered, his voice hollow with defeat. "Prepare to withdraw." Throughout the fleet, Arxan crews complied, knowing they faced not just military defeat but the end of their empire's dominance in the galaxy. The species that had voted unanimously to enslave Earth now begged for mercy from those they had sought to harvest. 5 years had passed since Earth repelled the Arxan fleet. The planet that had once been targeted for enslavement now stood as a rising power in galactic politics. The former Conclave headquarters, a massive space station at the crossroads of major trade routes, had been transformed into the home of the new interspecies cooperative. Inside the Grand Chamber where the Conclave once voted unanimously to enslave humanity, representatives from over 100 worlds now gathered under very different circumstances. The raised tiers no longer reflected rigid hierarchies of power, but were arranged in equal circles. At the center stood Dr. Eleanor Chen, now serving as Earth's primary delegate. "Fellow representatives," Eleanor began, her voice carrying easily through the chamber. "Today marks the 5th anniversary of the cooperative. In these 5 years, we have seen trade increase by 300%. Scientific advancement has accelerated across all member worlds. And, most importantly, no armed conflicts have occurred between any cooperative species." The chamber filled with sounds of approval, clicks, hums, and other alien expressions of agreement. Earth did not seek to replace one empire with another, Eleanor continued. "When we defeated the Arxan fleet, many expected us to claim dominion over their former territories. Instead, we offered partnership. Where the Conclave demanded obedience, the cooperative invites collaboration. She gestured to the display behind her, showing images from dozens of worlds where humans now worked alongside alien species. Unlike the enslaved humans of the past, these were equal partners, sharing technology and knowledge. Our unique neural, quantum network, once forced upon us as a control mechanism, has become our greatest gift to the galaxy, Eleanor said. Human adaptive capabilities, combined with the diverse specialties of our partner species, have solved problems that once seemed insurmountable. Images appeared showing formerly barren worlds now blossoming with life, advanced medical treatments curing diseases that had plagued alien species for centuries, and faster, safer transportation systems connecting distant star systems. The Arxan Empire believed that domination was the path to advancement, Eleanor concluded. Earth has proven that cooperation achieves far more. Our differences are not weaknesses to be exploited, but strengths to be combined. As the Assembly adjourned for the day's diplomatic receptions, Earth Security Commissioner Maya Reyes, formerly Colonel Reyes, stood watching from a private observation deck. The years had changed her physically. Enhancements from the quantum network allowed her to perceive multiple light spectrums, and neural implants connected her instantly to Earth's defense systems. James Okonkwo joined her, now serving as Earth's Minister of Interspecies Relations. Quite a change from 5 years ago, he said, observing the diverse species mingling peacefully below. I still remember hiding in bunkers wondering if humanity would survive. Reyes nodded. And now 74 former conclave species have applied for human protection agreements. The same worlds that voted to enslave us now offer unprecedented trade concessions just to ensure our goodwill. Speaking of which, James said, checking his communication device, the Arxan delegation has requested a private meeting with you and Eleanor. Apparently, Ambassador Krovak himself wishes to speak with you. Reyes raised an eyebrow. Krovak? I'm surprised he would show his face here after what happened. The Arxan territories have shrunk considerably, James explained. Their former subject worlds have all joined the cooperative or declared independence. They're no longer an empire, just another species trying to find their place in the new order. Later that evening, in a small conference room away from the main gathering, Reyes and Eleanor sat across from Ambassador Krovak. The once imposing Arxan diplomat appeared diminished. His exoskeleton faded to a pale gray. Thank you for agreeing to this meeting, Krovak began, his translator rendering his clicks and vibrations into human language. The Arxan High Council has authorized me to formally request membership in the Interspecies Cooperative. Eleanor kept her expression neutral. The same High Council that authorized Earth's enslavement? Many of those members have been replaced, Krovak replied. Our society is evolving. Painful as it is to admit, our defeat by Earth has forced us to reconsider much of our history and culture. Reyes leaned forward. Why should we trust the Arxans now? Your empire spent thousands of years conquering and subjugating other species. Krovak's compound eyes fixed on Reyes. Because you have something we never had. The ability to verify truth. Your quantum neural technology can confirm my sincerity. The Arxan fleet is reduced to defensive capabilities only. Our leadership has undergone fundamental reforms. We offer complete transparency in exchange for the opportunity to participate in the new galactic community. He hesitated, then added, You could have destroyed us. When our fleet was helpless in your quantum field, you could have eliminated the Arxan species entirely. But you showed mercy. That is not a choice we would have made in your position. Eleanor and Reyes exchanged glances. Through their neural connection, they could communicate instantly without speaking. His request seems genuine, Eleanor thought. Agreed, Reyes responded silently. And strategically, bringing the Arxans into the cooperative removes them as a future threat. Eleanor turned back to Krovak. Your application will be considered according to standard procedures. All member species will have input on the decision. If approved, the Arxans will begin as probationary members with the same rights and responsibilities as other species at that level. Thank you, Krovak said, his posture showing what in Arxan body language was profound relief. There is one more thing. A personal question, if I may. Reyes nodded permission. Your species had every reason to seek vengeance, Krovak said. We invaded your world. We killed your people. We planned to turn humans into servants across the galaxy. Yet when you gained the power to destroy us, you chose restraint. Why? Reyes considered the question carefully before answering. Because that's what makes us human, she said finally. Our greatest strength isn't our technology or our adaptability. It's our capacity to rise above the cycle of violence. Throughout our history on Earth, we've learned the hard way that vengeance only breeds more conflict. When we defeated you, we had a choice: to become the new oppressors or to create something better. Eleanor added, The Arxans saw our potential for service. You never considered our potential for compassion. As Krovak departed, Eleanor and Reyes moved to a large viewing window overlooking Earth below. The once ravaged planet had healed, its cities rebuilt with a blend of human and alien technology. Ships from dozens of worlds moved in orderly patterns through the orbital lanes. Do you ever wonder what would have happened if they had never invaded? James asked, joining them at the window. Sometimes, Eleanor admitted. Without the invasion, we might have spent centuries reaching the stars on our own. The quantum neural properties in human DNA might have remained dormant for generations. Reyes smiled. They thought they were creating the perfect servants. Instead, they created the perfect teachers. Every species in the cooperative has something to learn from the others. Humans just happen to be uniquely good at learning. As night fell over Earth, lights came on across the continents below. Where alien conquerors had once seen only a world to be harvested, now stood the center of a new galactic civilization, one founded not on domination but on cooperation. The species that had voted to enslave Earth now looked to humanity for leadership, protection, and guidance. They had sought to make humans beg for mercy. Instead, they had been shown a mercy they never knew existed and a new path forward for all sentient beings in the galaxy.